Good morning, everyone. So, afternoon. Have you ever had issues with making pork chops and they turn out dry, tough? I don't know about everybody else, but that is one of the things that I struggled with when I was a lot younger. One of the best ways to make pork chops is in the sous vide. And today we are going to do some very lean, center cut loin pork chops. And we're going to use the sous vide to make them nice and juicy and flavorful. And then we'll brown them off in a pan and make a beautiful pan sauce to go over top of them. So I hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm Karen, and this is Grandma's New England Kitchen. I'm going to stay back here so you can get the full picture of everything. The first thing I'm going to do is get the pork chops ready. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is get the sous vide going. And I've put everything, I'm going to take them to 158 degrees. My husband's not one that likes pink pork, so I don't mind it a little bit on the pink side. But it's all on your phone. This used to be a Jewel, and Jewel was purchased by Breville, so that's now the app for it. So I'm doing fresh, and they're going to go for 45 minutes. So I hit let's cook, start the preheat, and the sous vide's off to the side going. So while that is preheating, let's get the pork all seasoned. Some salt. And some pepper. And actually on the pork, since it's going in the sous vide, I am going to use granulated garlic instead of fresh garlic. And I do not have fresh thyme. I just went in there and I can't believe how quick it died in my refrigerator, but I can't wait till summer comes. Then I have all my fresh herbs. So we're going to put some dry thyme. Okay, so let's turn the pork over and season the other side. Same thing. Salt. Pepper. A little bit of garlic powder. And some thyme. Need to refill my thyme. Okay, and hopefully they fit in here. I got the little bags out. So when you're putting them in your bags, fold the ends down. Okay. Bring your top back up. Vacuum seal it. And there we go. Nice and perfectly vacuum sealed. So once this comes up to temperature, I'm going to get the other ones in a bag and they will go down into the, and they will take about 45 minutes in there. You can hold them at the temperature until you get to the point of searing them off to get them brown. But for right now, they're just, I'm waiting for the sous vide to come up to temp and then we'll put these in. So I'll see you in a little bit. I have put these in the sous vide. And what I did want to show you, they're not floating up to the top right now, but sometimes as they start to cook and they let off some juices, they will start floating. So I have this little chainmail thing that I always put down on top of my meats to keep, or whatever I'm doing in the sous vide, to keep it down. I do have a larger one if I'm doing a prime rib, but if I'm doing just something like pork chops that's small, I just stick to this small one. But yeah, this thing is awesome. So when everything's done and we switch over to searing them off, I will bring you back for that. It is time to brown up the pork chops. So they are out of the sous vide. Put some olive oil down in the pan. Any juice that is left in here, don't throw that out. We're going to use it in a little bit. All you're basically looking to do is brown off the pork chops and build a nice fond down at the bottom. So I'll bring you back in a minute. The pork chops are brown. I'm going to take them off. Turn that down just a bit. And get the shallots in. And I realized one thing I forgot, so I am going to take that off for a second. I will be right back. Okay, I am back. So the pan is very dry right now. But let's deglaze it with some wine. A little more wine. Okay, and then what we're going to do is reduce this down to basically all the wine evaporated. What you want to do is work on scraping up all that fond down at the bottom. And I'll bring you back once this reduces down. Okay, so most of the wine is gone. So now we're going to take the juice from cooking the pork that's in the bags and get that in. And I will reduce that down. The other thing that I'm going to add in is some bone broth. And this is thick bone broth. That will go back into the refrigerator. And then reduce this down by half. So I will see you once this is reduced down. This has reduced down quite a bit. And now the next thing I'm going to add is cream. And this is heavy cream. And we'll reduce this down till it thickens. And then put the pork chops back in to bring them back up to temp. And it will be all done. So we're going to let that come up to a boil and reduce down. So see you in just a bit. Okay, so this is starting to thicken up nicely. And it depends on how thick you want to go. This will get thicker as you put it on your plate. But at this point, I am going to take this down to a lower temp. I am going to put the pork chops back in. Let them heat up in there. Any juices, put in. And I'm going to let these sit here for a second, heat through, and then we'll be back to try them. The pork chop. Let's check and see how moist it is inside. And that is one moist pork chop. I hope you can see that. It is an extremely juicy pork chop. And now, depending on what you use for your stock, when you're reducing it down, you may need to add salt and pepper. Yep. Taste the lime. It is a milder sauce. I didn't put garlic and stuff in it. I wanted it to stay nice and mild. It's really very good. So, I hope you give this a try. If you have a sous vide, highly recommended on pork chops. I hope you enjoy it. Have a good evening.